Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of this day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited Group Executive Director Kayode Komolafe. Good morning and thank you for joining us on the newspaper review today.
Good morning,
Sunday
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
And good morning,
Adisa.
Good morning, KK.
I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you. All right, we'll go straight into the newspaper review. We'll start, as always, with This Day on Sunday. Let's start with the lead story. And I think it's in continuation of the focus that the This Day group has given to the coverage of elder statesman and patriot, General Yakubu Gowon. And the lead story says, civil war fought to unite Nigeria, not to defeat any part. Gowon insists. Tinubu, Jonathan Oshibajo, Katsina, Niger governors, CDS celebrate former leader at 90. I'm not sure, KK, if General Gowon has a memoir or something, in the making, but of course it would be interesting to have his thoughts and, reflections and recollections about the Nigerian Civil War documented, from his own perspective, given the fact that he was a major player during those interesting times. On top of the lead story, I'll continue to be problem to Atiku. Obi, Wike declares, pledges support for Tinubu. I mean, he's not singing a new tune. Everybody knows where he has pitched his tent. And the riders, FCT Minister, bitter for losing PDP presidential primary, says Atiku. The response from Obi is a bit different. Obi will not dignify Wike with response. That's the spokesman insists. Wike versus Obi on the one hand versus Atiku on the other hand. It says he will pitch his tent with President Tinubu. Of course, if President Tinubu runs in 2027, as it is expected, it means that he will have a major ally from the PDP camp, on his side. That's Wike. On top of the masthead, Army allays fears about Lagbaja's absence, says no leadership vacuum during Chief of Army Staff's leave. That story is on page 8. It looks like everywhere you turn, people are concerned about who has traveled, who has not traveled. Is there a leadership vacuum? Thankfully, the president is back. I think the vice president is still abroad. It's the same sentiment that, the army is expressing and defending the absence of the Chief of Army Staff, Lagbaja, who I guess is on vacation. On the window, NERC, TCM blame third power grid collapse in 1 week on transformer explosion in Jeba. Regulator to conduct public hearing on recurring grid disturbances. NAGI 6 return of power purchase agreements to boost generation. I mean, it's quite interesting because Adesu and I were on air yesterday, on the show, interviewing Engineer Dagogo Jack about these issues, and while we were talking, the announcement of the third grid collapse, happened. Last but not the least, on the cover of This Day today, like a mustard, Wike University begins academic activities. That's on page 9. But of course, we can't leave the cover of This Day without taking a look at the cover picture. Welcome back, Mr. President. It says, and that's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, being welcomed by a number of people in government after his 2-week leave that took him to the UK and to Paris. As we were told, we can see the governor of Lagos State there. We can see governor of Lagos State, yeah, we can see Minister of Finance there, Wale Edun. Ribadu is there. We can see the former Kano State governor too, who is now the chairman of APC, and of course the Minister of Economic Planning and Budget, Senator Atiku Bagudu, receiving the president from his trip. I think that's the standard procedure and protocol, isn't it? Except you are the new president of Senegal, who says that I don't need you to usher me in and out of the airport. Do your job while I do mine. KK, those are the stories on the cover today.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah. So it's in order to say welcome back, Mr. President,
yes.
especially given the...
I thought you were going to say welcome back to me.
Welcome back to Mr. President.
Welcome back.
Just like our president. Welcome back. Welcome back at this wagon house.
It's just that we didn't have to come to the airport to receive you.
Because you guys were busy. Yeah. But the truth is, it's not our protocol. It's not.
Okay. So welcome will be in order. Yes, it is General Gowon's birthday. So it will also be in order to say happy birthday, to the elder statesman, and also, without any doubt, a man that could rightly be described as a historical figure, given the role that history has assigned him to play, very critical period. In Nigeria. At night, I agree with you, Steve. Yes, the Civil War, you have a huge, literature, of it, yes. A lot from various, various perspectives,
yes.
Various versions, of what happened, have been written. But then people, maybe until recently, we were still expecting that General Gowon and Ikemba Otumeko Ojukwu, who has passed now, God rest his soul, that the two of them being the two major, figures, at that period of our national history, that the history could have benefited more than if the two, had put together, their memoirs, There was the story that until Ojukwu died, there was always this story circulating that the book, will be available, that the book will be popular. That is the memoirs of Ojukwu. But up till now, the book, even posthumously has not been published. Thankfully, General Gowon is still with us, and perhaps it is not impossible, to expect that his memoirs will be out. Simply because, there are a lot of things, that could be associated with him, And I'm happy for him that at 90, he has the opportunity of making this statement that the Civil War was a war of unity, that it was not a war to vanquish any section of the country. Remember that after the Civil War, there was this slogan, no victor, no vanquished, And to the credit of his administration, a military administration, immediately embarked on the program of reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction, And the Nigeria, has provided a model, perhaps, to other countries that have experienced, such bitter conflicts. That is the speed at which the process, of reconciliation, of reintegration, had taken place, and that a lot, will go for the political personality, of General Gowon, as a general. A warrior, but also essentially, as a man of peace, And that I'm saying that, especially that after his administration was overthrown in 1975, because apart from the question of peace, but another thing, that is you can associate it with the political personality of Gowon is humility, exemplary, humility.
Absolutely.
Apart from the, being a gentleman, visa humility, he went back, to the UK and enrolled in the university, and ended up with a PhD, in political science.
You ran an interesting NGO at that time, Nigeria Praise, I believe.
That was after he had returned. That was after his after his return, from from England. the Shagari, the Shagari, regime. But what I'm saying that, after between 1975, when the administration was overthrown,
yes.
and he put it into a very productive use.
That's true.
As a former head of state, so that he went to a university. There was this iconic photograph of his, on the queue.
Yes.
With students, with his plate, to be served. I think that a lot, could be learned, and of course, quite, a number of but in the political economy, a lot of landmarks will actually be associated with.
Definitely. He spent 9 years as head of state.
Yes, because one of his ministers, then they were called federal commissioners. The federal commissioner for Alhaji Femi Okunu, SAN, documented in his own memoir, in the chapter 12, of that memoir, draw attention to the fact that today, what you can call the Nigerian capitalism, that the rudiments of it, actually, could actually be traced to the Gowon era with the indigenization decree of 1972, and that was what gave the space, the opportunity, for Nigerian.
Mr. Komolafe, we don't have a lot of time. We want to say happy birthday again. Happy 90th birthday to Gowon. But before we move to another paper, did you want to say something about Wike's declaration about continuing to be a problem to Atiku and Obi? Because I feel like that's a comment on.
I would rather commend the military authorities, for responding, to the rumor, about vacuum, given the sensitivity of it, that to clear the air, that there is no vacuum, in this, because it is not a good thing, to give the impression that our military, really the army, had no leadership, nobody was in charge, nothing was happening. So to reassure the nation, that yes, the chief of army staff is indisposed, is receiving medical attention, but that the structure.
But that's a routine statement, isn't
it's
it?
normal, really. It's not like anything.
What I'm saying is that they ought to have done that immediately. Because if you remember, in the last few days, there's been this story, that there was a vacuum,
Who they shop is the question. Was the question? It was who they shop. No president, no VP, and now. But
I'm saying that is not healthy,
Okay.
Really, when you are talking of the post of the chief of army staff, so I'm saying that the army has done the correct thing by actually being accountable.
So you pass on that comment of Wike, right? You are passing on that comment. Let's go.
Or the national grid.
On the national grid, are you passing on those?
On the national grid.
The question I asked you was about Wike declaring support for Tinubu and being a terror to Atiku and Obi, but it's fine. We shall move over to this day style.
Oji, there are many stories.
Yes, but I asked for that one.
I have a choice
I asked for that one, but you're passing.
I'm saying that what is more important to me is the military story.
Fine. Should we take this day style quickly, and then we can go to. Let's just quickly take this day style, and the cover picture is Charles Odi leading Smedon. Right? All right. And and they said that the heart of Nigeria's entrepreneurial landscape, a revolution is underway, one that is poised to redefine the future of small and medium enterprises across the nation. At the helm of this transformative wave is Charles Odi, the dynamic CEO and Director General of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria. I'd like to read about his achievements. Well, kudos to him.
He was on this program before, so...
I have interviewed him, even before he was in this position. But I think he's a sharp, brilliant mind.
He's been working with entrepreneurs for quite a while.
Okay. I think, we should take a combo of 3 papers so that you can... because of the time that we have, so that you can...
That will be in order.
Vanguard is with Adeswa, is that correct? Yes, and then I would do Tribune and
well, the Sunday
Telegraph.
Vanguard, the bigger story there is how 27 protesters were killed, 800 others detained since August. Human Rights Chief speaks on crackdown, says no pass mark for the police. Officers involved are culpable, and that is on page 9. The title says Protests chilling findings, and this is coming on the 20th of October 2024, which is exactly 4 years after October 2020 at the toll gate.
All right, that's interesting. Okay, so Tribune leads with Tinubunomics, and they're saying that more pains for businesses. The riders are even, very illuminating. We're at crossroads. Small business owners lament. Make local products competitive. That's coming from MAN. And then lack of electricity killing businesses in Nigeria. That's Akinwumi additional. If you look at the other story, below there is on page 4 of the same paper. Nigerians groan as national grid collapses, third time in 5 days. You were going to say something about that earlier, KK.
Yes.
But restored hours later. That's good. And then maybe one more from Tribune. 2027, nobody can push presidential agenda for me. That's Sheyi Makinde. We don't know whether he's thinking of running on the platform of the PDP. His ally in G5, Wike, now says it is Tinubu or nothing. Let's see if Sheyi can go it all alone. Very quickly, Sunday Telegraph leaves with an investigation. And it says that Egbetokun's new tenure, 183 DIGs, AIGs, CPS face uncertain future as they may attain 60 years or 35 years of service before 2027. But from SANS, amended law only secures IGP. So it means that even though he might be 60 and might have spent more than 35 years, the IGP may have the privilege of staying longer, while those who are below him, they will have to find their way, into retirement. One more from Telegraph: local government autonomy, LCDAs will die natural death, say lawyers. Insist states creation can benefit from allocations. We'll deal with 20 listed LGs only. That's Lagos. Of course, about what is happening with the 37 LCDAs. And I think there's a bill, the House of Assembly now, which is proposing that they will become development centers so that they won't have to run foul of the law. Isn't it interesting that the governor of Lagos State, who created this thing, is now the one who says, no, you must stick to the law as the president. Deal with only the local government as listed in the Constitution.
KK, we are rounding up. They said we need to go. What do you want to quickly talk about? Can we do the national grid at a time where the Minister of Power is saying that Nigerians don't need, they're not complaining of high prices of petrol anymore, and we are seeing that the power grid has collapsed third time in 5 days. Can we?
Okay, just quickly, we should urge the Regulatory Commission, to embark on the investigation which it has promised, because it has become a national embarrassment. That in few days you have the breakdown of the national grid, in as many days.
A public hearing.
Yes, I think so. We should urge the commission, to embark on that investigation and actually find out what happened. But just quickly, let me touch on the news story of Vanguard, because it is it's an issue that concerns everybody. We are talking about human freedom, human life.
Yes.
Because this time around, the figures being put there, 27 protesters killed, and hundreds of others still in detention. Now it's now coming from the National Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
So it's quite different from what we have been having from NGO. And
You're right.
And this is in contradistinction with what the police have said. So it is important, for the police to respond to this, and the nation, in the name of accountability, should know the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Komolafe, for joining us on the newspaper review.
Thank you, KK. That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
Well, thanks for sticking with us. I'm Adeso Agiwa Osage.
And I'm Oji Okpe from our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.